Hello and welcome to another fun-filled nonsense retrospective. I'm your host as always, Rick, and joining me equally as always is Devon.
The O is silent.
Devon.
The funny thing is, even with a silent O, you still, because of the way N's pronounced, it's still more or less the same.
Yeah, Devon. Well, the on is silent most of the time as well.
Is it?
Yeah, because half the time you're dev.
Well, I just respond to that. It doesn't mean I like it.
Yeah, fair enough.
I learned at the tender age of about 12 to stop giving a fuck about that.
Yeah, fair enough. Similarly, when people give me a K when writing Rick, like, when I was young, it was a big deal because yourself is the only self that you are, and later on, stopped really caring.
See, I'm glad you don't have the K because that means your name is Rick as in Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Apart from, because Ric Flair's name has no K and it just has the C, I generally thought it was made up and no one ever did that until I met you.
Yeah, you can actually search on Google for Rick versus Rick, with and without a K, and Ric Flair is one of the options there.
Yeah, woo! And all that.
But today we're going to be talking about Helluva Boss, but before we get too far into that, we'll start with our good old time-honoured tradition of the nonsense asinine hypotheticals. And do you have one for me today?
I do. All cards on the table. I have slightly stolen this from the Oni Plays, so...
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, if you had an encounter of the third kind, aka with an extraterrestrial, how would you like that encounter to go?
Alien space babes?
If that's what you want to go, it's your answer.
I mean, it's one of those, like, I think the ideal solution, or the ideal final stage of one of these
I was going to say, don't say final solution.
Yeah, I was skirting around that wording. Yeah, the final stage of one of these encounters is a multi-species, collaborative, universe-wide government, like in Mass Effect or whatever, or Star Trek. Like, okay, Star Trek has some very obvious speed bumps along the way, with certain races not playing nice, like the Klingons until a lot later on.
Yeah, when they get their asses kicked.
Yeah.
But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about explicitly you one-on-one with a random alien on the planet Earth in the current climate.
Flying saucer comes down, like, it's got to be an abduction, hasn't it?
Well, no, it doesn't. What would your ideal encounter be? It could be an abduction, if that's your thing. I'm not going to judge. People listening might.
I think it should be an abduction, because not a lot of other things make sense. Just an alien popping down and starting talking in pidgin English isn't that funny, but you getting abducted and you being the fish out of water is a lot more interesting from a literary perspective.
Okay, but it's not a story, it's real life.
Yeah, but when I'm retelling it, it's a story.
Assuming you come back.
Well, if I don't, then it gets picked up by the networks as fan fiction of someone's death and disappearance.
I get to go, and this is the second week in a row where we have no Rick. So, yeah, we don't really know what happened. His parents are worried, gone. And we just hope he returns very soon, because I'm not very good at doing this podcast on my own, and that's all I care about.
But yeah, it's probably got to be some kind of alien abduction, like ideally with space babes, but
No, you get Greys.
Yeah, you get Greys. Okay, so like Thor from Stargate.
I'm not sure, but everyone knows what a Grey is, right?
Yeah, totally.
The fucking destroy all humans alien, basically.
Yeah,
for those
totally.
not familiar.
In Stargate, the Greys are like the Asgardian race.
Oh, fuck off.
And and Thor is like a major character for quite a lot of it, and then he just fucks off and dies.
I have to go now. My home planet needs me.
Yeah.
But yes, I assume you have a question as well?
Yeah, my one for you is, what's something minor and objectively meaningless that you're inordinately proud of?
Not really proud of a lot of stuff I do. This podcast, I guess.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be funny if we look back at this one day and go like, oh yes, let me dry my tears with my millions of podcast pounds. Yeah, that's not going to happen. But I don't know. I have a lot of stupid little hobbies that are ultimately meaningless, but I don't give a fuck. That's kind of the point.
Yeah, like, I know you're pretty good at painting minis.
I wouldn't say I'm pretty good, but I enjoy doing it.
Yeah. Like, the results tend to be pretty decent. They speak for themselves,
Yeah, but I don't do anything groundbreaking. Like, it's one of the problems where when you have a hobby and it's a popular hobby, it doesn't even have to be popular, it just has to have a few people doing it. Like statistically speaking, if you're one in a million, you've still got about 7,000 other people that have the same trade. great.
Yeah.
Because there are 7 billion people in the world. And it's like, if you look at any article, or even just other hobbyists doing painting, and you're like, oh, here's me doing non-metallic metal, and here's me doing weathering, and I'm like, I don't do none of that shit.
Yeah. And even out of a hobby, statistically, half of the people are going to do better than you.
Assuming you're average.
Yeah. Like, everyone is average until proven otherwise.
I suppose that's technically correct. It's a rather grim outlook on life, but whatever. But yeah, like I said, I've got too many hobbies. Like, I call myself I'm proud of the way our D&D campaign is currently going, because I think this is the longest I've DM'd without not losing interest, but
burning yourself out.
Yeah, I mean, I know what the issue was last time, but I'll not say that on air.
Yeah, it was getting burnt out.
Sure, that's the diplomatic response.
Yeah. Reading between the lines, it was burning yourself out, not quite. Getting burnt out, yeah, maybe.
Either way.
Yeah. So, we're talking today about Helluva Boss. And, like you said before we started, it's technically a spin-off of the Has Been Hotel universe.
Is it not pronounced Helluva?
I think it's Helluva Boss, as in Hell of a Boss.
I get that, but there's a wrestler called Sami Zayn, and he's got a finishing move called a Helluva Kick.
Okay.
So because of the spelling, I thought it was Helluva.
Fair enough. Well, I've always read it as Helluva Boss.
I mean, I get it. The pun is there in your face, but anyway, I digress.
And yeah, it's like we say, it's a spin-off of Has Been Hotel universe, published by Vivzy Pop on their YouTube channel, and this is the one that got picked up for actual episodes. I think this one's funded predominantly through Patreon, and I think they might have had a GoFundMe.
They've also got a Shark Bubble store, or Redbubble, whatever, a store where you can sell your stuff.
Yeah, they've got merch.
Yeah. If they have
with these kinds of intricate and iconic designs, yeah, merch is definitely the way to go.
Yeah, they've got this cool thing, which I wish more companies did, of, it's a very Japanese thing, I think, of the acrylic standees.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, they're cute.
Yeah, they are. But yeah, the main cast of the immediate murder professionals is Blitz, the O is silent, Moxie, Millie, and Luna, and the main character that doesn't appear in the main I.M.P. cast is Lord Stolas, and he appears quite often.
I think he's like, I'm trying to think of episodes he's not in. I don't think he's in the episode where Blitz has his ex-girlfriend, the fucking succubus. I don't think he shows up in that.
Verosica, yeah.
Yeah, or if he does show up, it's for like a throwaway 2-second gag. I think that's it, really, because like he's the assassination target. He shows up at the end. He's not in the Cherub one, I don't think, either.
I don't think he's in Cherub. I don't think he's actually in the Murder Family episode either.
The Murder Family one? That's the very first episode that's not the pilot. I'm pretty sure he's on the phone to Blitz at one point.
Yeah, he might be on the phone, yeah. As when he shows up in person, it's normally the focus of the episode.
I don't... not really, because he shows up in person in the second to last one, and that's just to solve the problem the imps made.
Oh, yes, yeah, that was a funny one.
Like, I was, like, genuinely surprised, because I know he's meant to be, like, a Lord of Hell and whatnot, but, like, we only see a stupid, wacky side of him, and then, oh, no, he's the real deal when he goes to the human world.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's very sloppy, because he doesn't finish the job.
Oh, no. All he wants is what he wants, and that's all he does.
Anyway, well, we'll get to it when we get to it, I suppose, is the way to go about that. I will say, I wasn't expecting to get so invested in the relationship between Stolas and Blitz.
Oh, no, like, I saw other people doing, like, little mini podcasts on individual episodes, and that final episode is the one that got a lot of traction when it was new. That, yeah, this is people thinking, oh, is it wholesome? Is it toxic? And then after that episode comes out, yeah, it's very much toxic.
It's got the potential to do a U-turn, but stuff needs to happen, namely a conversation.
I mean, yeah, we got season 2 coming out soon.
Yeah. It's a
like
shame.
End of this month as well.
It's a shame we don't think. Well, it's a shame it looks like we're not going to get the end of season 1 properly. But again, apparently that was issues behind the scenes that led to that. But we're getting to season 2, so who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
And I'll go be honest with you, if you're going to leave it hanging on something, that's a fucking kick in the fucking heart place to hang it on.
Yes. So yeah, we start on episode 0, the pilot. If you want to hear our in-depth
it's not out yet
thoughts on this.
It's an episode in hand, Rick.
Oh, even better. Okay.
So yeah, doesn't actually exist yet.
Yeah, so we've recorded an episode on the pilot, and it's not in the universe yet. So, yep, you can wait to see a greater in-depth version of that as we do our reacts and our live reactions and our thoughts and hopes and dreams on that. But we are going to talk about it here as well. This is the first that any of us in the universe got to see of this cast. It introduces the characters, and they have to go to the human world and kill a dude, and they end up killing it. Well, they nearly kill a kid, resuscitate him at a hospital, and then bring him back to hell to figure out what to do with him. Then it turns out that he's the target anyway.
And what is it? What is the legend? I'd call it a legendary line of Blitz going, well, shit, there is a god, or something like that, as he casually brings out his pistol and shoots a bitch.
I think it's something like, praise Satan, there is a god.
something
like
really, it's really stupid. But I will say, and I think I mentioned this in the episode, so apologies, spoilers for the past, but it will be the future for you guys, every time Blitz takes his gun out, it's always a treat. I really like how it's animated. I really like the way he just casually shoots a bitch.
Yeah.
Like, half the time he doesn't even look.
Oh, no, like, they're all very good at their jobs when they're doing it properly.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's something that's touched upon in literature a lot, but also you can see it in real life. When you're good at something, or rather when you use a gun, and this translates to archery as well, you don't actually aim with your eyes.
Yeah, you kind of rely on muscle memory to like fulfill the intent.
Like you aim with your eyes to start with, but then eventually if you're still aiming with your eyes after a certain amount of time, it's like you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. Like, you still need to be sure that you are aiming the correct way, but...
Oh, absolutely. Like, but when you say aiming with your eyes, like, you look in the general direction, you hold your hand out. Well, I'm guessing, because I don't use guns, but I use bows. Like, I know where to point my hand to get vaguely near the center of a target. I can't aim with my eyes. It's a weird thing to have.
Sure.
In fact, when I'm on the old fucking target, I shoot one arrow, and then it's like, cool, I now know where my hand has to go for where that arrow is, and then I just change where my hand is. I don't aim. I mean, you do aim. I know what I'm saying. It's a bit difficult to translate to guns, because, yeah, especially the way Blitz does it without even fucking looking half the time.
But yeah, we're introduced to Stolas in this one as well, and it's in the scene where Stolas recites a bunch of things that he wants to do to Blitz, and it's so traumatizing that he blends the phone, gives it to Luna, says, drink this, and then goes shit off a bridge.
A very specific bridge as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. It's glorious. I do like how during that tirade as well, about 95% of it's bleeped out.
Yeah, it's great. Like, that adds to the comedy. There's a couple of other things, like Blitz is shown as being more cavalier with money in the pilot than in the normal series.
It's not even cavalier, it's just idiotic.
Yeah, he spent all of their budget on the Immediate Murder Professionals jingle, which then plays 24/7 on a channel nobody watches.
It wasn't even 24/7, it was like 3 hours.
Well, still, it's over and over again on a channel nobody watches.
We touched upon it when we did the podcast, which again you guys will be able to see eventually when one of us is ill, like twice, and this pilot episode, the gags and the information just comes at you at a mile a minute.
Yeah, it's one of those things you basically have to watch the thing at least twice to get everything.
You especially have to watch it twice when the first time you watch it you have to fucking commentate on it.
Oh yeah, totally. Moxie is more professional in this one than normal, in that he cares about the job over anything else.
Yeah, it's very weird when we get to episode 1 and his personality is almost U-turned.
Yeah, but, that serves the series better. So it's one of those where I understand the change. I understand equally this being a good introduction. So it's a weird one where this wasn't officially episode 1. It was still officially episode 0, the pilot.
No, I understand that. I'm just saying it's a very odd thing. Like, also about half the characters had voice changes, which is par par for the course when it comes to such a length of time between pilot and episode 1. But,
Yeah.
it can be quite jarring. Bear in mind, I don't know if Rick watched this as it came out, but I personally binged it about a month ago now, so everything was already out, so the differences were rather noticeable.
Yeah, I watched it pretty much as it was coming out. The pilot, I think I saw about the time that episode 1 was released.
Okay.
So, yeah, I've been keeping up to it since episode 1. And yeah, Millie basically does nothing in that episode apart from being married to Moxie, and that's pretty much it.
She sticks up for Moxie when Lula's a bit... Luna is a bitch.
Yeah, totally.
Which, kind of translates over to the main series.
And yeah, it just makes Luna into only a bitch.
I mean, to be fair, it's one of those... The first episode's like 11 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do nuance in 11 minutes. I mean, you can try, by all means, but not with this format, because, again, everything's coming at you for a mile a minute. You can't do mile a minute and nuance.
Yeah.
Not without being stupid, shall we say. Well, it's like, minute 1, Luna's being an absolute arsehole. Minute 4, but she's actually a sweetheart deep inside, and it's like, okay, but like 3 minutes ago she was a right cunt. It don't work, is my point.
Yeah. So then we get into episode 1. This is the contract from Mrs. Maybury to kill the woman who was sleeping with her husband before she murdered her husband and tried to kill the woman.
Do you know what? One of my favourite jokes in this is after she, quote, and I'm using air quotes, kills the other woman. She looks into the webcam and tells the children to do their times tables before killing herself.
Yeah.
It's such a simple joke, but it's so dark. It's fucking hilarious.
Man, yeah. And like, I really feel for Mrs. Maybury. She had it rough. She had one bad day, and she got made into a villain for it, historically at least.
I mean, it's something that happens a lot in real life, and they play on it a lot in Helluva Boss, let's be honest, of humans are the real dickheads. Like, demons can't help it. It's hardwired into them, but humans can be so much better, but we choose not to be. Anyway, I digress. There's probably not a deeper meaning to this show. It's meant to be a comedy, for fuck's sake, but, it happens all the time in real life, crimes of passion, and it's always the same thing. It's you're working hard to put bread on the fucking table, you come home and your partner's fucking someone else, and it's like, is it really that hard not to just fuck someone else? Is it? It shouldn't be.
Yeah. Like, I have very little sympathy for infidelity.
Because it's so avoidable.
Yeah.
You want to go fuck someone else? Okay, fine. Do the right thing and leave. But no, I want to fuck everybody at the same time because I'm a god amongst men. In this case, god amongst women, but whatever.
Yeah, people who want to have their cake and eat it.
Actually,
literally.
No, I'm incorrect. It was the dickhead bloke cheating in this one.
Yeah, both of them were, actually.
Well, the teacher wasn't.
Well, not the teacher, but the bloke that was married to the teacher, so Mr. Maybury, I guess, and the lady whose name escapes me right now, but the
cannibal.
The Southern Belle cannibal lady.
Yeah, I was already on board with the group killing her because she got so much out of this horrible deed. But then they just went so hard on no, she is actually evil incarnate.
Yeah,
out of nowhere.
Yeah, although apparently, if you look at the family dinner before they show up to be evil, like you can see things like there's a pelvis on the wall, the lamp is made out of a spine.
Maybe, but that's not what you're looking at your first watch.
No, you're looking at this idyllic family scene.
As Moxie is having an inner debate on, oh no, are we the baddies? And it's like, yeah, you're devils. Like,
yeah, you're fulfilling your need to be evil. Like, you're meant to be lawful evil, but yeah, you're meant to be evil.
Like, I think the exact exchange is, are we really gonna wipe out a perfectly innocent family? And Blitz goes, no, just the mother. Oh, jeez. But yeah, when she's all, when the teacher is all demon-eyed and having a conversation with Blitz, Blitz presses a panic button under his thing.
Oh, yes. Yeah, he does.
I absolutely love how one of the panic buttons just says Stolas.
Yes. Other buttons are need more coffee immediately, horny client.
I assume there are certain warnings that Luna just ignores when the button's pressed.
Yeah. But yeah. Overall, it was a good episode 1. I think viewers generally will have seen the pilot as well, so I think there wasn't as much need for introductions as there normally is with an episode 1.
I mean, the pilot's in the playlist for the series, so
yeah. And although, like we say, you're better off starting with the personalities presented in this episode rather than before, even though most of them are similar. Moxie in particular is is more meek in the series proper, and like growing out of that is his character development.
I suppose. Man, we'll get onto it when we get to the final episode, but it's, technically speaking, Moxie and Millie are doing a very weird thing for demons. And I forget what the word is because I always get the two mixed up. I want to say polygamy. Or is it monogamous?
Oh, monogamy is when you've only got one.
Right, okay, in which case they're rare amongst demons in that they're monogamous.
Yeah, and actually married.
Well, yeah, there's that too. Which also we're going to get onto in episode 2 is the fun fair episode, right?
Yeah, Lululand.
Yeah, I find it weird that Stolas' wife cares that Stolas is cheating because that seems to be the norm for demons.
I don't know. I never actually saw it that way. So I can understand that it's the norm, but I didn't pick up on that from the series.
I mean, it didn't really get hammered home until episode 7 when they went to Asmodeus' club.
I mean, yeah, that's the club of lust. Like, people who are going there are probably going there because they're like attempting to become an incarnation of lust themselves.
But Asmodeus points out that the most sinful thing is having a date with someone. Do you know what I mean? That's the insinuation when he sees Stolas with Blitz.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, you degenerate, Stolas." Ooh.
Well, I think it's one of those where it's playing off the whole, holding hands, how scandalous kind of trope, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I might be slightly biased because, again, I come more from Helltaker than Helluva Boss in that over there it's hugs and kisses is filthy degenerate, but having hardcore anal gangbangs is fine.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it seems a bit odd to me.
Yeah. I think we're done enough on Murder Family. We can move on to episode 2 if you like.
I thought we'd already had.
Yep. Yeah, so Lululand, it's all about Stolas simping for Blitz.
A little, like, he does. I do think Stolas has some honest intentions at the beginning, inviting his daughter out, but his dick very quickly clouds his mind, as it does with most men. We only have enough blood to supply one head, people.
It's not my turn to use the brain cell.
For real, man. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not justifying any atrocious behaviour, I'll word it as, because there's certain words I don't like to use. I'm just saying, as a bit of a comical tone in this sense, that, I'd rather flirt with this bloke than look after my daughter, not, atrocious crimes that we will not mention, because there's no forgiving those sorts of things.
But yeah, the intention for Stolas is to take his daughter Octavia to somewhere that she loved when she was 6.
Yeah.
To kind of rekindle some nostalgia, and the message of the episode is doing that when things are going south sometimes has the opposite effect, because it gives you a direct comparison to when things were good.
I kind of see where you're coming from, but again, I think Octavia would have had a fine enough day if Stolas had actually did what he intended to do, which was, try to reconnect. However, as Octavia points out very clearly near the end of the episode, you spent all day flirting with Blitz.
Yeah, exactly. And it comes to it's very obvious one time when Millie saves him from an attacker, and he basically goes, "Well, what are you here for?" I wanted Blitz to save me.
I think he calls him Blitzy, which I find adorable.
Yeah, Blitzy.
Oh, dude, please don't be offended when I say this, people potentially listening, but I love how poncy his voice is.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're British. We can rag on poncy people all we like. We're British.
I suppose. I just don't know if people are going to take the word poncy in a wrong way.
Oh, it's not like we're saying a slur,
I'm not sure. I really don't know, because sometimes I say words and someone goes, "That's offensive," and I'm like, "Is it?" I've called people ponces before, and they've assumed that I have something against homosexuals, and I'm like, I didn't realise the two were connected.
I mean, they're not meant to be. It's meant to just be posh prick.
In which case, I've been speaking to some people who don't know what words mean. But anyway, that's why I was like, please don't be offended when I say this, because I don't give a fuck about your fucking sexual orientation. But yeah, Stolas is the very definition of poncy.
Yeah, and yeah, he's simping for Blitz. He doesn't need protecting, as we see later on when he just turns his eyes on, and it's just he wants to pay Blitz for a paid date, as it were.
Yeah, was it this episode or the episode beforehand where Stolas hammered out the deal of, I get to fuck you for one night every month, and you can keep the book for every other night?
I think it was actually in the pilot.
No, because it was definitely his new VA.
Okay, yeah, it would have been episode 1 then.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would have been his appearance in episode 1.
Might have actually been the Harvest Dance one, because he needed the book. Because he needed the book back for some reason. I don't know. I can't remember. It was definitely not the pilot anyway. In the pilot, he was just talking about him having the book stolen, but I don't think he made a deal or anything. I don't know. No, I've slept since then, to borrow a phrase.
Yep. But yeah, the other thing that happens in this is we get introduced to one of Blitz's old co-workers back when he used to be a murder clown.
Yeah, I thought it was implied that they were ex-lovers.
Maybe.
Well, not him and the robot, but him and the person the robot's based off of.
Fizzaroli.
Yeah. That said, though, I did like I absolutely adored Blitz and Octavia saying at the exact same time, I fucking hate that clown.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I don't know if the Robo-Fizz is actually meant to be Fizz.
What do you mean?
Like, I don't know if it's meant to have been the real Fizzaroli been turned into a cyborg or something.
I mean, it's not, because we see the real Fizzaroli.
Do we? Okay. Yeah,
he's in the Lust Club. Remember, he's the MC, and he says, La La Land's been closed, and I'm gonna fuck up whoever fucking closed it, because that made me a lot of money. And that's when Blitz is like,
Oh, yeah, my bad. Again, I've slept since then. I watched all these when they were new.
yeah, my memory's a bit fresher.
Yeah. So yeah, Fizzaroli's still kicking about. It's weird that the robots have the same grudge.
To be fair, the robot has the grudge because the robot doesn't even have a grudge. I think he just likes taking a piss out of Blitz, because Blitz used to be a clown in the place.
Yeah, fair enough.
Tried to do his set at the same time or some shit. At least that's what the implication looked like. Have we spoken about Blitz having a very weird scar?
We haven't, no.
We don't know where it came from, as far as I'm aware, and it's very big.
Yeah, it is very large. And also he has a lot bigger horns than most imps, so...
Yeah, I think the closest one is the cowboy.
Yeah, I think that's just to emphasize that he's the most important imp in his gang.
That being said, like, he's compared to, in strength, to Norman Reedus' character. I've forgotten the name, I really have. Like Snakebite or some shit.
The cowboy?
Yeah.
Striker, okay.
That's such a Sonic name.
Striker the sniper, yeah. Oh man, my train of thought crashed.
We find out that the imp is good at their job against fellow demons because they expertly, without breaking a sweat, handle protection duty.
Yeah, they do. And yeah, like we say, Octavia doesn't have a good time.
No.
Because as we say, Stolas spends the entire time ignoring her, in proximity to her. Yeah. So they're right next to each other, and he's just like basically doing what cats do when they need you to know that that they don't like you, which is being in your field of view with their back turned to you, and just spending the entire day flirting with Blitz.
Yeah, and Blitz ain't having none of it.
No.
Well, because again, we got to bear in mind that at this point, at least from our point of view as a viewer, Blitz very much does not like Stolas as anything apart from a means to a paycheck. Yeah.
At least that's what we've been shown so far.
Absolutely.
And it's a weird one where, like, this is the episode that got this could potentially be wholesome crowd going, because Stolas really does like Blitz, and he's not just using Blitz as a means to an end, although he does treat him a bit like a pet, you know?
Little bit. We also do get it very early on of, I want to say her name's Stella. Is that Stolas' wife?
The wife. I think so.
Yeah, Stella gets really mad and picks up a random maid or butler imp and goes, "Are you going to fuck this one too?" and then throws him out a window. So it's very much implied that it's not just because he wants to fuck imps. It's implied that he, probably wrongly so, considering their entire relationship is more or less physical at this point and nothing more, that he just cares about Blitz. But it's such a weird thing of, like, you're having a relationship that's entirely physical is one thing. Whatever, if it's your cup of tea, it's your cup of tea. But Stolas seems to have it in his mind that it's more than that.
Yeah, I think it's one of those where I think Stolas wants a relationship that hasn't been decided for him.
I suppose. Oh man, it's a weird one, isn't it? Because
it's implied that there's a very small pool of nobles. So even if you're going to marry a noble, then there's not that many of them to choose from, and it's probably not you doing the choosing.
Even taking the noble aspect out of it, like, it's only a recent phenomenon where gay people can just be gay.
Yeah, Yeah.
Like, it wasn't uncommon even like 15 years ago, more recent than that if you're in certain other countries where being gay is literally the death penalty, but whatever, we will not dwell on that, where people have lived for like 50 years, gotten married and had kids, and then been consistently having an affair on the side because they can't have the affair be the real thing.
Yeah. The marriage is the beard and the affair is their actual relationship.
Which, from a modern day perspective is fucked up.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, anyway. It's weird, isn't it? This dumb fucking show about hell that's just meant to be a throwaway, potentially dark comedy, and it's just like, it brushes on real things.
Oh, totally. Oh, man. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for episode 2. Episode 3 is the introduction of Verosica.
Yes, another ex of Blitz's.
Yeah, I believe that's Christina V. I could be wrong, though.
I couldn't tell you anyone. The only voice actor I know is, I don't know their name, but I know the guy who voices Blitz is also one of the writers.
Okay.
And I know Millie is the other writer.
Erica Lindbeck, yeah.
And I know that Sniper the Striker is Norman Reedus, because I remember seeing that in the credits and going, fuck off.
Moxie is Richard Horvitz, who's Invader Zim.
Right, again, didn't know the name, but yeah, Invader Zim. Zimmy Zim Zim.
Yeah. Apparently he was also Alpha.
Alpha?
Yeah, in Power Rangers.
Yeah, I hear it.
Yeah, like, I didn't know that until I looked it up, and like, oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Well, as soon as you said Alpha, my brain's going, aye, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds like Zim. Yeah.
Just, without anger.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's, they get into a bit of a rivalry with the, it's Blitz's ex-girlfriend who has moved into the same business complex doing her stuff. And, they get into a rivalry at an above-ground festival of who can kill the most humans.
Well, that's what the imps are doing. The succubuses just need to fuck the most.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a vastly easier task.
Oh, yeah. Well, the idea is it's who can damn the most humans, right?
No, I don't even think it was that. I think the stipulation was literally, let's see who can do more, us killing or you fucking.
Yeah.
And also, but I think it was explicitly stated as spring break, which isn't a thing we really do in the UK, but we've seen enough American TV to know what it is.
Yeah, especially in Florida.
Man, I remember when COVID first hit and everyone was like, don't go to Florida, you're gonna fucking cause a spike, and Florida's like, come to Florida, we haven't got any restrictions, and people went to Florida, and then a surprise Pikachu face, there was a spike.
Yep. Man, it was bad enough over here when it got sunny and everyone went to Brighton.
Man, one of my favourite things is there was an interview with some dude on the fucking Brighton beach, and he was asked, oh, so why have you come out here? And he went, oh, I wanted to see if everyone else was here, and they were. They're really not thinking of people. It's like, motherfucker, you are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Like this, it's a staggering lack of self-awareness.
There's not much, it still makes me angry.
Yep. But yeah, this is the episode where we see that Luna has her human form.
Yeah, and she is legitimately surprised when the imps reveal that they've been going to the human realm without disguises.
Yeah.
This is the episode where we get the gag of, people will just lust over me, and then all 4 of the main characters just looking at the viewer.
Yeah.
Out of all the characters, I believe Luna has the most fan art.
I mean, yeah, she's shaped like a...
she's a furry and she's a goth. Yeah. What more do you want?
Goth, furry, and wolf, which is one of the more popular furries.
I mean, when I think furry, I do tend to think dogs.
Well, then again, I was raised as a Sonic the Hedgehog kid, so yeah, I've seen a lot of Sonic OCs as furries. So, oh well.
Yeah. I don't actually really like her human form that much. It looks very jarring.
I mean, it's just goth girl, really, isn't it?
I don't know, man. Her skin looks very pale. And yeah, I get it. That's kind of the point. But she does not look very human next to other humans.
Fair enough.
Even the other wolf character who looks like a real human when they're in human form.
And she lusts after him completely the entire time.
Yeah, well, 17-year-olds and hormones, man.
Yeah. Apparently she's canonically meant to be like 22 now, but she was adopted when she was 17 and dead.
Yeah. What are they called? Hellhounds, right?
Yeah, so they're hellhounds. She's a hellhound, even though she's got more design things in common with a werewolf.
I mean, even when they're in hellhound form, the other dude looks like they've got the same design traits, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. The other thing that goes on is we do actually get a little bit of development between Luna and Blitz. That, yeah, she does actually care for him and appreciate him being an adoptive dad, even though she doesn't show it all the time.
Yeah, I suppose.
And yeah, so I guess that's the takeaway of the episode, other than that, yeah, Blitz is very competitive.
I mean, you're saying that, but this episode has the trope of "Don't tell me what to do, Dad. I'm an adult." So, while I kind of get what you're saying, it's just I think this is a bad episode to highlight that because everything's hunky dory at the end, but they very much have a split rather than a bonding moment.
Fair enough.
But we do get the lovely moment where I don't know his fucking name. What's the other hellhound's name?
Oh,
don't worry about it if you can't think of it off the top of your head. But I do find it rather heartwarming, and it's like, you should come to one of my parties. We should get you some more friends, because it's very much implied that Luna's only friends are her adoptive dad Blitz and her shitheel co-workers Eminem. Oh, by the way, Moxie gets mad drunk in this.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. And Vortex is the guy. Vortex is the hellhound.
Vortex. Yeah, it's such a not dog name that... you'd expect him to be a storm elemental or some shit. Man, they tried so hard to make this guy cool, and it worked. Like, what? Like, he looks the way he looks, like big, beefy hench motherfucker with a scar on one of his eyes, and he's called fucking Vortex. The guy's an American gladiator.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. But Moxie gets drunk, and when Millie goes to sort of comfort him, I think his exact words are, "You got 4 heads, I wanna smooch 'em."
And it gets the culmination of the episode is Veronica accidentally creating a kaiju.
Yeah, I flipped out.
I think they basically call off the competition as a way to kind of sweep the kaiju under the rug.
Not even. Blitz makes them lose. Blitz says, "You gotta accept the L, otherwise we're telling affairs that you did this."
Yep, fair enough.
So succubus lady. I'm really bad at names apart from the main 4, so I apologise anyone listening getting annoyed with me saying descriptions, but
Veronica,
yeah, Veronica is just like, fine, whatever, and they go back, and then Blitz starts celebrating. Fuck you, it's our parking space. That's all it was over.
That's how it starts as well, wasn't it? That's how it starts, because he's got the van, which picks up the entire crew and just carpools the entire office and has one parking space for all of them. She just takes it at the beginning of the episode.
To be fair, it is awarded to her by the company building business. Like, she doesn't just take it, she gets given it, but it's like, no, fuck you, that's ours.
Yeah.
It's a good representation of a workplace not doing any research on anything, because they even put her opposite Blitz.
Yeah.
Which, considering there's such history, you shouldn't have done that.
Oh, no. But it's one of those, like, as a workplace, that kind of shouldn't matter. But as people, it very much does.
I've always hated that fucking logic of, oh, no, you're at work, be professional. And it's like, you can only be so professional when there's a deep history. Let's say, for example, you were married to someone for 20 years and suddenly you had a messy divorce because your partner cheated on you. Like, you're not going to be able to just push that down and suppress that every time you see them, because you have to see them every day because you work in the same building. That's a ridiculous thing to expect of your employee.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, if you've got the option to work in a different place, great.
Most people don't.
Yeah, if you don't, then it's going to be a bad time.
I'm just saying, the business should have been like, very specifically, like, oh, by the way, your office is right next to hers, so you have to see her every day. No, fuck you, that's stupid. Put her office on the other side of the floor. Like, okay, yeah, it might be a pain in the ass, but it's going to be better than the headache you're eventually going to get, because something's going to happen between these two at some point.
Yeah. So, we get on to episode 4, Cherub. So we finally see the heaven counterpart to Immediate Murder Professionals of a bunch of angels persuading people to keep on living.
This episode's a trip.
Yeah. The client is it Loopty that wants to kill Lyle? It's implied that it's as revenge, but it turns out not to be.
It's not even implied as revenge. It starts out, he's very open. He says that they got caught in a machine of their own making to make everybody young again, but instead they reversed it and it was actually making them old. They both got old. He died and had a heart attack, and he's like, how dare my business partner have all my money, please kill him. So it's not even revenge, really, just pettiness, but he's open about it.
Yeah, and then at the end, when they're both in hell, they can be friends again. It's great.
Yeah, they're two lunatic businessmen, inventors, and as they're reunited, the character from La La Land is just like, oh, by the way, I need you guys to invent me shit, because there's an advert for his company early on about, you need a thing invented, we'll invent it.
Yeah. And then they've got some cool designs when especially the chubby guy, it looks like a demon version of Dr. Robotnik. Is great.
Sure.
And his teeth are piano keys. But yeah, it's the whole deal is demons versus angels. It's actually the angels that end up killing him in the end, don't they? They get persuaded that, yeah, he actually really does both want to die and deserves to die.
No, they don't get persuaded to that. They kill him by accident.
Oh, yeah.
they kill him by accident, and then they're barred from going back to heaven. So the episode ends with them vowing vengeance on Imp, and Imp's just like, okay, and then they fuck off.
Yeah, and we never see them again.
There is some great action scenes in this, including Moxie with a fucking Tommy gun while swooping through the air on a rope. I think it's the first time we see Moxie going into overkill mode because Millie is slightly threatened.
Yes, it's great. Like I like that because even when he's pissed out of his mind, Moxie was still actually doing something in the previous episode.
No, when he was pissed out of his mind, he was just trying to flirt with Millie.
I mean, that is kind of cute though, like flirting with your wife.
Just because you're married doesn't mean you should stop.
Oh, totally. Like, how much of an ego boost? Like, we're blokes. Can you remember the last time you got a compliment?
Yes, it was 5 years ago. A woman said I smelled good.
Yep, exactly. That's exactly the thing.
And fun fact, that's why I use the antiperspirant I do. Because a woman told me I smelled good one time.
But yeah, it's a mostly action-based episode.
Yeah.
From my recollection.
Yeah, it's mostly action. They take the old dude to loads of places to convince him that his life is worth living, and Blitz and co. basically keep trying to convince him to kill himself. They never just outright kill him. They try to convince him to just give up living. Don't know why. I guess because they just like fucking with Cherub.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cherub eventually accidentally kills him. I can't remember the exact thing, but there's a lot of fucking shenanigans going on when it happens. Like, something ends up landing on the dude and it crushes him, and it turns out one of the Cherub is the people who launched the thing. And yeah, at the end of the episode, they try to go back to heaven, and then another angelic being comes out of the portal, and they're like, we're trying to get home. And it's like, yeah, no.
Yeah, it's a piano, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a piano.
Yeah, so Blitz throws his gun. Cletus accidentally shoots an arrow to cut the rope. Yeah, and then that's the grand piano that falls. It shifts mid-air.
Don't. It's fun, but it's dumb. Which can describe most of the show like that, I guess.
But yeah, we never find out what Cherub stands for, or who even hired them to convince Lyle to keep on living.
Oh, they don't need to be. Actually, yeah, they do need to be hired, don't they? Yeah, it's not necessarily hiring. It's when you die, and if you go to heaven, you get one for free. You get to influence one thing in the world, and someone chose to use theirs to try and keep him going, I guess.
Okay.
You're right, it's unclear who exactly that was, but yeah, the advert makes it clear you get one.
But yeah, on to episode 5. This is the one with Stryker.
This one...
It's another Stolas hires Blitz episode.
No, it's not. It's not hires, it's just invites.
Okay.
Blitz isn't getting paid for this. Blitz gets...
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, Blitz gets told, I've got this thing, it's not that big of a deal, but if you want to come... And Blitz is like, fuck it, free holiday. And Millie's like, I'll go visit my parents while we're there. So they sleep at Millie's parents' place. And it turns out Millie's parents don't really like Moxie that much.
No, they don't, because he's not that violent of an imp.
It's one of those, it's a trope from cartoons back in the day. Well, not even just cartoons, sitcoms as well, of, we don't like the boyfriend because the boyfriend's not a macho man. And even back in the day, I kind of hated it. But even here, I'm not a big fan of the trope, but it's played for yucks. They don't really buck the trope so much because, the trope in and of itself is, by the end of the episode, the non-masculine character does something to impress the parents, not necessarily winning them over, but temporarily like, you did good, kid, and all that shit. But yeah, it's the classic of, here's the character who is the ideal of manliness that the parents wanted, just happens to be here at the same time. Chaos ensues.
Yeah, that's the one that I really hate about that trope of when the parents obviously prefer someone and try to end one marriage to start a different one.
It's fucking dumb.
That's the one part in particular of that trope that I really hate. But oh well.
It is what it is. There is a great moment very early on where it's like, you're gonna stab the pig for us, and Moxie tries to do it, and Blitz is like, yeah, Moxie, you can do it. He's really encouraging him, while Luna's just recording it on her phone, and Blitz is like, send me a copy of that.
But yeah, Stryker has his own song in the middle of the show, and he says he wrote it just now, and the second half of it is very obviously written just now, in that it's mumbled, clearly improvised, has no structure, and
it's mostly just saying, Mox, you suck.
Yep. And it's basically there to say, even though I just pulled this out of my arse, I'm still cool because I have this confidence.
Yeah.
I'm confident in the size and turgidity of my willy and all that.
Yeah. I mean, it works. Like, it even wins Blitz over.
Yeah. And that's the actual, focus of the episode from a narrative standpoint, is that Stryker is trying to get Blitz to join him and strike out on his own and be a roving anti-noble mercenary.
I don't think that's the point of the episode. I think it's a subplot.
Okay, fair enough.
The point of the episode is Moxie being all insecure.
True.
Which, again, is kind of why I hate the trope that we mentioned about 2 minutes ago.
True, fair enough. But yeah, Stryker nearly manages to win Blitz over, but yeah.
I mean, he doesn't know, because Blitz reveals very quickly that he was just putting it on.
Yeah.
Because say what you want about Blitz, he's smarter than not at all.
Yeah, and he's a pretty good actor, as we see.
Yeah, I do absolutely love how he goes, you forgot one thing, does the wolf whistle, and they just wait for half a minute, and it's just fuck. And then they're finally about to fucking get him. Moxie's got the fucking god-killing gun pointed right at him, and he's about to shoot, and Luna slams the door in his face, playing on her phone and going, alright, I'm here, what's going on? Like a typical teenager shit.
That's probably the funniest part of the episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Luna appearing late, fucking everything up.
Yeah. Because to Moxie and Blitz's credit, they do overpower Stryker. They're about to win. Oh, by the way, Stryker has a god-killing gun designed specifically to kill people like Stolas, because apparently normal weapons don't work on them.
Yeah. Nobles are challenge rating higher than normal.
You need to be able to do at least D20 radiant damage.
Yeah.
Oh, also, Millie has a sister, and she's big and strong.
Yeah, she is. The entire family appears to be at least non-zero strength.
You know why I zeroed in on the sister.
Oh, yeah. She's taller, she has the ripped jeans. Even the mom looks cute. It's basically just a milfier version of Millie.
Yeah, but she's taken, so it's harder to lust after.
Yeah.
The episode ends with Moxie giving the parents a telling off, because the parents are telling off Millie for getting overpowered. And Moxie's like, well, you fucking invited the prick here. And the parents have no comeback and just sort of go, yeah, okay, fair enough, and walk off. Cue Moxie going, wait, did I just earn some respect? And Millie's like, kind of. Yeah. And the absolute stinger is we find out that the person who hired Norman Reedus in the first place was in fact Stolas' wife. And she's yelling at him about the failed assassination attempt while opposite Stolas at breakfast. And Odalia's just sat between them with her headphones in looking miserable, and I really feel bad for that child.
Octavia.
What did I say?
Odalia.
Oh, fuck me, that's the bloody horrible mother from...
from Owl House.
Yeah, shit. My bad. Yeah, I find that so funny. Just fucking, you fucked up killing him. Why not? And Stolas is just eating his fucking Cheerios.
Man, the fact that you don't even win Shitty Mom Award over a more or less normal humanoid person while being a demon. Yeah. Stella is not worse than Odalia.
I mean, probably not worse, but she's certainly comparable, because as much shit as we give Stolas for fucking up that one interaction, he did try. His heart was in the right place, whereas Stella just seems to not give a fuck. Even when we saw the flashback, it was Stolas that went into Child Octavia's room to read her a story and say, we're never going away, not Stella.
Oh yeah, totally. And just a little callback to that episode, that he looks genuinely hurt when Octavia says, so what, you're gonna vanish with him and go live somewhere where I can never find you again? And he just goes, no, I'd never do that. I'd never leave you.
Yeah. Stolas has flaws, but he does seem to be he seems to have some genuine care in his heart for his daughter. Maybe not so much his wife, but yeah. Maybe there was a spark there at one point. Who knows? We know so little about the history.
Yeah. The affection that was or wasn't, and when it stopped, if there ever was any.
Absolutely.
But yeah, next one, episode 6 is Truth Seekers, and this is the Men in Black episode.
This episode is my favourite.
Yeah,
because
the dorks.
We get 2 excellent songs, and they are animated beautifully.
Yeah. Speaking of animated beautifully, apparently the reason this episode was delayed in the beginning was because they spent so much time animating it.
Yeah, you can see it. Like, the moment... Like, they have hallucinogenic fucking song sequences, both Blitz and Moxie. And Moxie is animated in, like, a traditional fucking Disney-esque style.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas Blitz's is animated in a, oh, fuck, this is definitely a drug trip style.
Yes.
Both cannot possibly be easy. Like, I'm not an animator, Rick's not an animator, but neither of us pretend that animation is an easy thing to do.
Thing is, Blitz knows what a drug trip is like, and he's like, oh shit, here we go again. And I think the reason that his drug trip ends sooner is because he's so used to it that he can just kind of snap out of it eventually.
I could have sworn they ended at the same time.
Okay, but he's a lot more, he's a lot less worse for wear.
Oh, absolutely.
By the time it ends.
Man, speaking of him not being worse for wear, going back to the first episode, I do remember when Bitch Woman tied both him and Millie to the stake and was going to burn them. And actually, that would have been the first instance where Moxie snapped when his wife was in danger. Where she sets both of them on fire, and Blitz is going, yeah, that's not going to work.
Like, they live in hellfire.
Yeah. It's like, you're better off
burnt at the stake.
Something along the lines of, you're better off using that shotgun, honey. And she cocks a shotgun, and Millie gets really mad.
But yeah, the dorks use Edo period Japanese weapons because they're badass.
I forgot about that throwaway line, but it was very weird that all of these high-tech guys were using samurai swords and fucking nunchucks and throwing stars and shit.
Yeah.
Rule of cool is fun in D&D. It doesn't work in real life.
Yeah. The imps mostly use guns. Millie is the only one who's mostly a melee person and, is a bit stronger than these regular humans who are just waving around swords like mall ninjas.
Yeah.
Mall ninjas in suits. Oh, man.
I'm going on about the beautiful animation for the 2 songs, but this extended fight sequence lasted 3 minutes.
Oh, yeah. It was definitely worth a rewatch.
And again, cementing my love for Blitz's fighting style in not even looking as he shoots a bitch.
Yeah. And this, I think, was also the big bonding episode between Blitz and Moxie. Even though most of the bonding happened in the drug sequences, they kind of both come out of it, closer to each other.
I don't think they grow any closer. I think they're as close as they always were. It's just they weren't quite so vocal about it before. Because even as they're being interrogated before the gas gets put on them, they're both working together very well and just fucking with these nerds.
Yeah. But I think the takeaway is Blitz telling Mox, stop calling me sir, just call me Blitz.
Yeah, I guess.
But yeah, the episode gets solved by Stolas possessing one of the dorks, using the body to make a full summoning circle so his full body can come through, and then showing off his scary form.
And then immediately doting on Blitz.
Yeah, going to Blitz saying, are you all right? And then as soon as he says, yeah, I'm all right, he says, what were you fucking thinking? Man, I think this might be my favourite episode of the bunch.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, then we get into what wasn't meant to be the finale, but turned out to be the finale in retrospect.
It is still named Finale Part 1.
Yeah.
Which, again, I think I said this on the review when I mentioned I binged it. I genuinely was expecting a joke at the end of the episode in that there is no Finale Part 2 because there wasn't meant to be, and it was just all an elaborate ruse.
Yeah. It was billed as the first multi-part episode, and yeah, it ended up not being. So we don't know if season 2 is going to adapt the second part of the episode, or just conspicuously skip over it and have to deal with the fallout of there not having been a second part,
It will be conspicuously skipped, I believe, because they've mentioned... I've seen in the comment section of YouTube, which as we know is so reliable, that multiple people have stated that behind-the-scenes issues means that episode's never getting done. So sure. I suspect they're just going to skip over it. I don't think they're going to... Well, they might incorporate it into season 2's opening opener, but I think
it's
that'd
weird
be
that I don't know why such a thing could come to pass, because they've got the entire crew.
Well, I couldn't tell you. Like I said, I didn't do a deep dive because I didn't really feel like it at the time.
Sure.
And this episode was kind of decided on the fly, to be honest. Doing a retro on it because we've both seen it. We enjoyed it. We want to talk about it. So,
but yeah, the premise is Moxie and Millie are having their 1-year wedding anniversary.
Hang on. I think the lead animator suffered from burnout.
Oh, okay.
I think it was a burnout issue.
Okay, but not enough to stop doing season 2. Like that, I find that really weird.
I don't know. But burnout's weird, dude. If you've ever had it,
it is. Yeah. Sometimes you just need to pick something else up instead.
Sometimes the solution to burnout is don't do that thing and do something else.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you try go back to the thing, and it's just like, I know why I was burnt out with this because of this, and I can't do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, that's speculation on my part because I'm trying to rack my brain for memories which may not exist. So take that with a huge grain of salt.
Sure. I'll take the entire salt shaker. But yeah, like we say, the premise is that it's Moxie and Millie's first wedding anniversary. They have booked a table at the Lust Club.
Asmodeus's club.
Yeah, Asmodeus's club, and Asmodeus himself comes out during the presentation.
I got such Oogie Boogie vibes. I loved it.
Yeah. I think Asmodeus is meant to be the same rank as Stolas in terms of being a demon prince.
I mean, he owns the Ring of Lust.
Yeah.
So he might not be a demon prince. He might be like, what's his name from Has Been?
Or Alastor.
Yeah, where he's just a fucking badass demon and he can do what he wants.
Yeah. Man, I love Alastor. He's got such a cool voice effect.
I love Alastor because I want to know more about what the fuck.
Yes. Like, all we know is that he was apparently a serial killer during his life, and then when he died, he was such a powerful presence that he just started fucking things up, and people started respecting him.
Yeah, and his decision was, no, I'm not in charge. No one's in charge.
Yeah. But yeah, Blitz gets jealous and also wants a table at the Asmodeus's club.
It doesn't even start like that. Additionally, he just assumes he's invited.
Yeah. And the only way to get in without a multiple years of planning is to get Stolas to come and bring him along.
But specifically, he gets told he's not allowed in without a date either.
Yeah. And also, so we kind of get a reflection of Lululand in that Stolas is involved, and the person that Stolas is involved with is ignoring him rather than him ignoring the person he's involved with.
I really felt bad for Stolas in this episode.
Yeah,
because
totally.
Even when it was incredibly apparent that he wasn't there as a real date, he was still trying to treat it as such.
Yeah, like he knew and he was still trying to salvage it, you know?
It's very easy to feel sympathy for Stolas in this particular episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
That being said, I did enjoy the touch of when Blitz invited him, he said, how quickly can you get ready? And he goes, I'll be ready in 20. And literally 20 seconds later in the video, that's when he just pops up and appears. I do like how the bouncer also immediately gave absolutely zero shit to Stolas.
Yeah. Yeah, because you don't give royalty shit, you know?
In real life, yes, you should.
Well, okay, not in hell. Like, in real life, you should hold them as, if not more, accountable than the average person.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, if the Queen could completely destroy people with just a thought, I'd give her a bit more respect, but that's not out of respecting her as a person so much as I don't want to die.
Yeah. Man, it just reminds me of the Eddie Izzard Darth Vader thing of, I could end you with a thought.
Yeah, when he's in the canteen.
Yeah.
Like, you need a tray. Well, this one's wet, this one's wet, this one's wet.
Why, with the power of the Death Star, do we not have a tray that's not wet?
Like, I am your boss. You're Dave? No, I own the Death Star.
You're Mr. Stevens.
I gotta be honest with you, like, man, Eddie Izzard is one of those comedians where a lot of their jokes are hit and miss, but when they hit, they fucking hit.
Yeah. Jeff Vader.
I mean, I do remember there was a YouTube short series at one point, and I can't remember the exact name. It was like Chad Vader or something, and he just works in a supermarket.
Yeah, Chad Vader is. I think it's got like 3 seasons now. But yeah, he works in like Empire Mart. And it's just.
But he's like a middle manager though. He's not even the top
Oh yeah, he's got a boss. So Chad Vader's voice actor was the one that was hired to do all of the Darth Vader voices in video games after a certain point.
Fair enough.
So it started with Soul Calibur 4, and it carried on to like The Force Awakens, and basically anytime when they don't want to pay James Earl Jones, they just get Chad Vader.
Yeah, I assume that's no effect. Like I have no doubt that James Earl Jones doesn't have to do a lot when it comes to doing voice work, because he just does his own voice. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's a good voice.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not criticizing in that regard, but like he's clearly just like, listen, I'm not getting off my arse for less than 100k.
Yeah.
Which again, like, I'm not going to fault someone to do if they've got the ability to do it, but yeah, it's like whenever you got a character voice who's played by Tom Hanks, whenever there's a video game, it's voiced by his brother.
Yeah.
Which, isn't that great? Isn't that kind of nice of Tom Hanks, of just like constantly giving his brother work?
He's creating work for his brother just by having been himself, and also
it's usually Woody. It's usually Woody.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's usually Woody. Like this project isn't important enough for the real Tom Hanks. Have Bob Hanks instead, or whatever his name is.
I think it might actually be Bob.
It might actually be Bob.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, let's be honest. If considering he's Tom Hanks, I doubt his brother has like a name like Bartholomew.
Well, yeah. Well, Thomas and Bartholomew are actually a reasonably good set of names, to be honest, for kids.
His brother's name is Jim.
Oh, Jim Hanks.
And there's also Larry, and Larry looks the spitting image of him if Tom Hanks was about 10 years older.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tom, Jim, and Larry.
Yeah. Wait, hang on. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Jim Hanks, Tom Hanks, Larry Hanks.
Yep, fair enough.
Fair enough. Yeah, at least two of them are famous, technically.
Yeah.
Where the fuck were we?
We were talking about the episode that ends badly. The episode ends badly.
I loved the song in this episode.
Oh, yeah. I like when Fizzaroli and Asmodeus are trying to get Moxie to sing a sexy song.
Yeah, and he just goes, nah, fuck you. I go a cappella, fuck a papa dog, fuck a lark, fuck a trailer, fuck everybody. That's a quote from a film I'm pretty sure today's generation's never fucking heard of.
To be honest, I don't know it.
8 Mile.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's the Eminem Biopic.
I did see that. Man, that was a long fucking time. I saw it in the cinema when it was new.
Really? That was like 2001. Were you 18 in 2001?
I was almost 18.
You probably could. I definitely remember getting. I'm not going to say that.
Yeah, you don't want to dox yourself for a crime on a podcast.
It wasn't a crime. It was just something I'm not proud of in retrospect. So I'm going to shut the fuck up.
Yeah. But yeah, there was a thing back in the day of if you looked old enough, you just get let in.
Yeah, that sounds right. Anything pre 2000. If it was pre September 11th.
Yeah. Like you were, if you looked old enough, you looked tall enough, and you were paying full price, then fuck it. Like you couldn't get a kid's ticket to an 18.
No, of course not.
Like you could try and get a kid's ticket and show your ID, or you could try and get into the 18, and you basically pick one or the other, and that's what you do at that cinema, because if they know that you've been trying to get a kid's ticket, then you're not getting into the 18 at all.
Well, here's a fun fact. My brother, for a long time, because he looks rather young, well, he looked rather young, I should say, not such anymore, used to try and get a kid's ticket on the train all the time, including after he had his half sleeve done.
Okay.
Half sleeve is a tattoo.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, like, I mean, if you're wearing a jacket...
Yeah, he didn't.
He's wearing a tank top and going with the anchor on, going, I'm hard, and I'm 14.
I don't know. I assume he doesn't do it anymore. He'd be stupid to if he did, but
Man, there was one of the ones of cinema was there was someone in our year who was trying to get into a 15, and he wasn't 15. He was something like 13, and they were asking everyone, how old are you? And everyone was like, I'm 15. When he got to this guy, he went, I'm 14, but I'm 15 tomorrow. And they didn't let him in, because even though it was a lie, he'd also told a lie that said he wasn't 15.
Yeah, dumb. That being said, I got my first tattoo before I was 18, technically.
Fair enough.
I got my first tattoo on 2 days before my 18th birthday, so it's not exactly a brag. Also, I don't have that tattoo anymore.
Oh, is that one of the ones that got covered up?
I've only had one cover up.
Okay, fair enough. And that was Lady Maria, wasn't it?
Yeah. I remember when I went to get that covered up, and I had my mum drop me off. I don't like having people watch me have tattoos, because I don't know what type of fucking faces I pull.
Yeah.
And when my mum saw the size of it, she went, do you really want it that big? And I'm like, yeah. I have a big arm. It's mad. It takes up my whole upper arm, let's be honest. We got sidetracked again, didn't we?
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, you said you got a big arm, and then you said it takes up my whole upper arm, and I'm like, I hope it does. I thought you were saying that the arm takes up your whole arm, and I'm like, yeah.
Oh right.
Not realizing that, yeah,
gotcha.
it was meant to be talking about the tattoo, which was the sentence beforehand. But yeah, so yeah, it ends with Blitz saying this whole night was a mistake after Stolas trying to salvage it, and it just ends on a real downer. And as we now know, this was the end of the season.
It does twist a knife in the heart, where Blitz goes on an entire spiel of, listen, this is just us fucking. I don't feel like that tonight. I'm gonna go home. And that was after Stolas suggested either cuddling or having a movie or getting ice cream.
Yeah, yeah. Or even just like sitting down and talking and sharing feelings, stuff that people who are, meant to be in that kind of relationship can just be more than friends about,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like, the part of being more than just friends implies that you need to be friends to begin with, And that's obviously not the case with Blitz and Stolas. They're business partners first, fuck buddies also first, equal first.
They're not even fuck buddies. It's a prostitute.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
It might seem dirty to say it like that, but that's what it is. It's Stolas is paying Blitz for sex.
Yes, yeah, it's transactional. Yeah.
So it's not even we're friends who just happen to fuck. It's no, you're paying me to fuck you.
Yeah, yeah, and it's monogamous. But yeah, it is still transactional.
Not really.
Well, like I don't think Blitz is getting paid by anyone else for it.
No, but I also assume Blitz wouldn't think twice if there was someone he wanted to fuck and they were amenable.
Yeah, fair enough.
And by the same token, it can't be monogamous because even though they're not necessarily physically intimate, Stolas is still married.
Yeah, they're not divorced yet.
I don't think they can get divorced, I think is the implication.
Yeah, I think that's the whole point of the attempted assassination.
I still can't believe that. How happily Stolas is eating his Cheerios as Stella's having this super serious conversation. And even though he can only hear Stella's half of the convo, she's still being so aggressive and serious.
Yeah.
But I think this might be a side effect of how often Stolas is on the receiving end of that exact tone of voice.
Yeah. I think the happiness is that, yeah, it's aimed at someone else for now.
Just like the image of him eating Cheerios. Oh, I'd buy that on a shirt.
Well, you can make one.
No.
We're not sponsored by a shirt making company.
Dude, could you imagine if one day we sell shirts and it's just your fucking artwork of our faces looking at each other, and it makes no sense in the context of a shirt.
Oh, even better if that's the actual the tagline for the shirt, and one of us is saying it. This makes no sense in the context of a t-shirt.
Jesus Christ, I don't think it would work, Rick.
Sometimes the absurdity as an in-joke is basically the extent of the joke,
Alright, I'll make 2 shirts, one for me and one for you, and we'll wear it whenever we stream again, if we ever do. Oh, by the way, we never said that on air. We're not streaming at the moment anymore.
Yeah. It was meant to be a pause in streaming for the summer, and yeah, we're keeping the warts and all format that we started when we were streaming for the retrospectives.
Keep going.
Okay. Yeah, we're keeping the warts and all format because, yeah, the whole point was reduce editing, but also give a little bit of humanity and show anything that goes wrong is part of humanity, And so, yeah, we're going forward. We're keeping the done in one take kind of feel, but also as a pre-recorded episode,
Yeah. Basically, people don't tune into the live streams, so what's the point of doing live streams?
Yeah.
If we ever get popular or well-known enough that people do want us to do live streams, we will resume doing that.
Yeah, part of the problem also was that we were doing it in the middle of the day on a work day, so there was that.
Yeah, well, that's the only day we have.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool, that's a good fucking PSO near the end of an episode that people may not even listen to, so... Did I say PSO? I meant PSA.
PSA, yeah. So yeah, I think now is good enough time to wind down into our final 3. So, from the entire series, do you have a favourite moment?
Yes, the dual song between Moxie and Blitz in episode 6. It's technically 2 moments because they're separate enough, but it's good. I love it. The animation styles are beautiful and the song's just catchy. What about you?
I'd probably actually say the same thing. Although I would say, actually, the one thing that does beat that out slightly is Stolas' roaring rampage of rescue in the same episode. So yeah, I'm going to go with that, of Stolas possessing someone, making his own summoning circle, and then coming and really laying down the hurt.
Again, I do love how it's immediately contrasted by Blitzy, are you okay?
Yeah, exactly. And that, again, that is part of it. I still count that as part of the same scene. So yeah, I'm going for that entire sequence.
Yeah, fair do.
But we can't always talk about the best stuff. Sometimes we have to talk about the not so good. Do you have a weakest link?
It's very difficult, really, because it's just good. Like, none of the episodes drag on for long enough for them to get boring.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, most of the gags land. I suppose we got to give a weakest link, otherwise it's not particularly fair. We said it when we brought it up. I really don't like the trope of my daughter's boyfriend is not masculine enough.
True, fair enough. Like, yeah, we both brought that up, and it's such a bit of a tired trope that it's like the I hate my wife jokes, you know, that boomers used to make.
Yeah, like the way I see it is like it's just such a fucking 80s and 90s thing, you know? And again, the episode's enjoyable. It's just that part of it I don't particularly care for because it's just dumb. For lack of a more eloquent response for it. But yeah, I'll throw it back at you. Weakest link?
My weakest link is the lack of episode 7 part 2.
Yeah, I think we've got to give a bit of leeway on that as the thing.
Yeah, I'm hoping that the events get addressed.
Like I said, I'm not subscribed to anyone who works on it on Twitter. I mean, I've only really looked at it in the last month or so. So, yeah. And most of my knowledge comes from YouTube comments that aren't even people who worked on the show. So I just genuinely don't know. But it seems to be behind-the-scenes issues. Yeah.
It's just such a shame that all the creation went into it apart from essentially finishing it, you know? And the fact that this story could have been made and the fans could have had the closure, and it's the only closure we've got now is the fact that the next season is coming at the end of this month.
Yay.
Yeah, I mean, yay. That is the silver lining, you know. And for the final one, do you have an MVP?
I'm going to give 2, I'm afraid. I'm going to break my own rules, but it's not the first time and it won't be the last.
Not a problem.
It's a joint award. I'm going to give it to both Stolas and Blitz.
Yeah, sure. I see it. Obviously, Blitz is in every episode and he does his best to drive most of them.
Yeah, Blitz is the main character. I absolutely adore him. He is hands down my favourite character. But
yeah.
Every time Stolas pops up, I smile. for lack of a better word. Like, even when he's only in it for a little bit, I'm like, oh, this character's adorable. And I think a lot of that comes from the last episode humanising him a bit.
Yeah, like, it does retroactively humanise a lot of things, but even then, right from episode 2, at Lululand, we saw his human aspect, we saw how vulnerable he was, even when he was in complete control, you know?
And again, I feel so bad for Octavia.
Oh, totally.
I hope she gets something out of this. I hope in season 2 she hangs out with Luna for a bit and they become friends.
Yeah, that'd be cute, wouldn't it?
Yeah, like, could you imagine if fucking Stolas' daughter and Blitz's daughter become best mates?
Yeah, and they have a better and more positive relationship than their dads.
Oh, and all they do is they get each other's backs whenever they go to parties and shit.
Yeah. Or they just sit near each other texting.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how 16-year-olds are these days, aren't they? Really?
I wouldn't know. I don't hang out with them. But
yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, it's just. But from what we've seen, Octavia seems to have the same, I guess, stunted or closed off relationship with the outside world, like Luna does. Apart from like in fact, episode 7 where she fucks off to have a party with Typhon. Typhon?
Yeah.
Did I get that right? Storm. What's his fucking name again?
Was it something like Twister? Something.
I think he said Typhoon.
I had it a moment ago. Vortex.
Vortex. Fuck, I was close. I had the right fucking Storm.
Wind-based.
But yeah, Vortex invited her out to a party, so it's safe to assume Luna's probably making a few more friends off camera. And yeah, I'd love to see that. Like, two daddies getting along. Oh god, daddies means two things.
Oh no. Yeah, we even saw Luna, like, in the pilot. She was already hungover from that morning's worth of drinking. Like, she doesn't not have a social life.
You can day drink.
Yeah.
Day drinkers tend to drink alone. Anyway, I should probably ask the question in return, Rick. MVP.
I'm laser focusing it on Stolas. That every time he shows up in an episode, the episode is basically about him, apart from the episode 6, where again it gave me my favorite moment, where he saves the day. Basically, if he's in the episode for more than a couple of seconds, yeah, he's very much driving it. And even when he's not the driving force of the episode, he's still giving the keys to the plot for the most part, you know?
I get you.
So yeah, I'm giving it to Stolas, and it looks like we're going to be seeing more demon nobles in season 2, and he's going to be the yardstick by which we measure them. So I think he's going to retain a lot of importance in the fans' minds, even if he doesn't show up as much, you know?
I get you. I assume Stolas is probably going to be the nicest, relatively speaking, to the quote-unquote lesser demons.
Yeah, so we know that his brother is showing up.
Okay.
That's Andre Alphys. He's a snobby one, and he's more peacock-based.
Okay.
And Paimon is their father.
Oh, okay, I've seen these names.
Yeah, so Paimon, we know it mostly from Genshin Impact.
I've seen these names on the wiki,
yeah,
is what I should say. Yeah. But yeah, you're right, Paimon is from Genshin.
Yeah, Paimon is originally a demon from the Ars Goretia, meant to be a man with an effeminate face, but now it's another owl demon who is more regal, more royal, and more imposing than both Stolas and Andre Alphys.
Man, I hope they're not total dicks to Stolas.
I hope.
Like, I'm gonna go out on a limb, because I know absolutely nothing, so this is sort of a fantasy booking aspect. I think we're gonna get, if Paimon is the father, I think he's gonna be a Tyrone-esque figure of, I don't care what you do in private, but in public you look like this.
Yeah, I get you.
I think that's the type of character we're probably gonna get, like laying down the law of, I don't care if you're fucking an imp, you don't let the world know it.
Yeah, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I guess we will. Do you want to throw out a fantasy booking, seeing as I did one? Doesn't necessarily have to be that.
Well, to be honest, I don't know. He might end up coming down harder on Andre Alphys than on Stolas.
Maybe.
And that might be our fan catharsis, you know? You know, like the whole ending of Shield Hero is the fan catharsis of everything going right for once, after an entire series of everything going wrong and struggling.
Yeah, and then they immediately fucking ruin it by showing, oh, by the way, Shield Hero is generic isekai now.
Yeah. Oh, it's double isekai.
How?
The isekai protagonists get isekai'd to an additional isekai within the isekai.
No, they don't. Shut up.
They fucking do.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No! Fuck! I'm so glad I didn't watch season 2.
They come back. I
don't give a shit, man. Like, the fucking Shield Hero had an interesting concept. It was a bit lazy because, you know, it's very easy to be like, to get a visceral reaction for such a false accusation. But at the same time, I get it. I assume a lot of it. You need a simple setup like that, for lack of a better word. And yeah, it took about nearly the whole season to get catharsis for that. But the other interesting aspect was the other 3 heroes were fucking off and saving the world, and because the Shield Hero was shunned, he got there after them, and he's like, oh, they completely fucked this up, and he had to deal with the aftermath, and that was interesting. Yeah,
that was like the B side to it. Like, he wasn't just doing his job, he was actually helping the world.
Yeah, it's like
even if he was charging a price tag for it, like he set down the law of, I'm not doing things for free, but I will do it correctly.
Yeah, but I respect that, because fuck you, pay me. But we even established very early on that he actually understands how money works in this universe, because we get the Spear Hero visiting the exact same town he did, and he's like, we need you to pay 1,000 gold every time you enter the village, and Shield Hero's just like, no one here even has that amount. I'm emphasizing for effect. I can't remember the exact values, but it was something ridiculous like that. But yeah, like, I forget, I think it was the archer dickhead who killed a fucking dragon, but then the dragon's corpse started rotting and a poison gas descended on the village, so Shield Hero had to fucking clean up the corpse and get rid of it, and someone else went up north and caused a rebellion to get rid of the corrupt nobles, and oh, guess what, shocker, the leaders of the rebellion are now just different corrupt nobles.
But yeah, you remember the villain heroes that come and try and kill the good guy heroes?
Oh yeah, they like met in a beach resort.
Yeah, so the isekai squared is to their world.
Okay.
So at least there's, a bit of precedent for it. Like, at least they show there is at least one more world, so it's not just, I've forgotten about things to do with this world, let's swerve to a different one.
Oh, Rick, we've got isekai on the docket at some point, and now we've blown most of our load. Shall we say goodbye to our good viewers or listeners?
Yeah. it's time to say goodbye. If you liked the video, if you're here on YouTube, you got the comment section down below. If you're listening to us via one of the audio platforms, you have our email address, which would be at
nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com. Once again, that is nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com. Please mind the gap as you exit.
Join us again for more pontificating on things for great length, and yeah, see you later. Bye.
Bye, guys. Buy some merch from the Helluva guys.